This is the Washington Times front page for Thursday, January 4th, 2024. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. A pair of explosions at a cemetery in Iran killed at least 95 people and injured 210 more during a ceremony to mark the 4th anniversary of the death of Iranian commander Qassem Soleimani. Military reporter Mike Glenn reports Iran's state-controlled news agency said 2 bags containing explosives were remotely detonated at the entrance of the cemetery in the southeastern city of Kerman. Israel did not claim responsibility for the strike, but the assault added to the mounting tensions in the region and sparked fresh talk that the clash between Israel and Iran-allied Hamas was threatening to morph into a much larger Middle East war. Soleimani, the commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' Quds Force, was killed by a U.S.-ordered drone strike in 2020. House Speaker Mike Johnson led dozens of Republicans to the southern U.S. border in Texas, calling the situation an unmitigated disaster. Kerry Pickett and Stephen Dinan report the congressional delegation visited Eagle Pass, a border town that's been an epicenter of issues. The visit was as much about showing solidarity against President Biden as it was about fact-finding. Johnson said Republicans are firm in demanding the administration secure the border before Congress agrees to more money for Ukraine and Israel. He said the House already put forth an effort in May when a border security and immigration bill cleared on a near-party line vote. Former President Clinton and former President Trump are listed among more than 150 names made public in court documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Susan Ferricchio and Dave Boyer report the documents filed in federal district court in Manhattan were part of a now settled lawsuit filed by one of Epstein's victims, Virginia Giuffre. Clinton flew several times on Epstein's private plane, but isn't implicated in any crime. He's named dozens of times in the documents. Both former presidents' names and the identities of others listed in the lawsuit were previously redacted, but a federal judge last month ordered all the identities in the documents to be made public, except for 2 of Epstein's alleged victims. Claudine Gay may be out as president of Harvard, but the battle over diversity, equity, and inclusion on the Massachusetts campus is heating up. Valerie Richardson reports Harvard's legion of conservative critics are now focusing on the school's DEI culture. They're calling for an end to the focus on race and identity politics, which many see as threats to free speech and academic standards. Hedge fund manager Bill Ackman, a Harvard alum and leading critic of Gay, said in a lengthy social media post that the school must once again become a meritocratic institution which does not discriminate for or against faculty or students based on their skin color, and where diversity is understood in its broadest form. And finally, a former U.S. Navy commander says Iran-backed Houthi militants may be using Chinese missile technology to carry out attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea. National Security Team leader Guy Taylor recaps the talk by retired Admiral Harry Harris at a Washington Times Foundation-sponsored event. His remarks, in a wide-ranging discussion on global security threats in the year ahead, coincide with rising unease about Houthi attacks on commercial ships. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.